name is Muzi Kunene. I did my actuarial science degree at the UFS, Free State University, and my honors in math stats. So yeah. So I'm a quantitative graduate trainee within the first round quants grad programs. My first rotation was an RMB counterparty credit. I was in the modeling team specifically. Yeah, it was a good start in that sense. Technical skills, onboarding as in the new corporate environment. RMB is a very fast place, so it was good for me in that sense to learn so much. My second rotation was actually here in first round. I was in the treasury floor under enablement, so they deal with the balance sheet of the entire company, the entire board from RMB and the works. And currently I'm in F&B home loans. Very key for me because one day you want to buy a house. I'd say that to some extent we aren't fully informed about what home loans cover, what we can get out of it and all that. So it was good for me. I chose that one. Loved it. I just feel like it's coming of age. I've developed fully as a person. I just hit the ground running with this one. So yeah. Why I chose to be a quant in a bank specifically, opportunities, room for growth. One thing about me is I don't want to do the same thing forever. And I feel like being a quant basically aids always getting in many pies and learning so much. It was pretty much mainly the reason why, but why I chose First Rand to do it at. Many subsidiaries, many different cultures, different ideas. I feel like you basically have an entire career within 2 years because you're in very different spaces and you're on board quicker. So of course I have been here, I've been in 3 teams, but I know a whole lot more because I've been going into different teams, getting information, learning, and trying to also help where I can. Challenge and highlights within the bank. I always say to my peers, corporate is a very fast place. And corporate, I like what Alan Pullinger said when we first joined last year. He said you will either be an employee who's known for what they have done, or you'll be a statistic. That could get to you on anxiety scapes in the sense where there's so many important people doing important things and you just come with technical knowledge, but you don't know what you're doing. I would say one of the highlights for me specifically is the growth that I've had as a person. I'd argue that before I joined the bank, I was a very shy, quiet, always in my own corner. But being in the bank, you present a lot. Funny enough, my first month working here, I presented an entire project for the execs in F&B. That was, in first round, that was big for me because if you could do that in month 1, what could you do as time went on? And we covered so much. How I keep up to date with the whole environment that we're working in, the whole changes, being in different teams, there's different ways to do it. Of course, research is one. You can go on the internet, you can read newspapers, the news, the works, but my favorite way is collaboration. So what I did when I joined is I have a mentor in the R&B space. He runs the credit floor, so I got to know him. It was not easy, but you have to be proactive, and it took time, but eventually, we clicked and now I learned so much from him. His wisdom is key for where I've currently, ended up. And I feel like it is all in your hands at the end of the day, what you do to upskill yourself. Since I did my math stat honors, I told myself, funny enough, that if I get that degree with the highest, grade possible, then I will return to actuarial science and just push, the envelope in that sense, which I did. And what I'm doing now is I'm writing exams, continuing further with actuarial science because it's also that first love that you appreciated for the failures you got because it taught you what success actually means when you attain it. What I like to do outside the office so much, funny, I'm actually a musician. Right? I love utilizing words, just connecting concepts and painting pictures, not just towards like reality, but myself, my life. I always say that my life, in its essence, is a therapy session because I'm always talking to myself via the music. I love cooking, I love fashion, I just love having that feeling of doing something important, for yourself, not at the expense of others, obviously. So I would say there's so many things that I do, but if anything, they all cater to my growth as a person, my development, my embetterment, if anything. So yeah, I'd pretty much say that.